So you just have to find a marketer. So 6 months down the road, he says, I found the marketer. So we flew to Kirkland, Washington, and we came back, and we were the manufacturer of Kirkland's signature Costco for 20 years. So the first Kirkland signature shampoo, conditioner, lotion, bubble bath, hairspray were all my formulations. We manufactured them. You should dream big, work hard, learn every day, and enjoy life.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's afternoon here already in our world in California. And welcome to our weekly podcast again. And today I have a very special guest. So honored to have her. She's so dear to me. She's close to me, close to our hearts. She is a very remarkable woman who's been changing a lot of lives already and created so much wonderful products all over the world. No other than our Florence Nacino. Thank you for being here today, Tita Florence. We call her Tita Florence.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here, especially with Amabel. She's very dear to me, and I would really love to see her whole self, all over the world.
Thank you so much, Tita. So what Tita Florence was talking about is the whole self. These are lotion, and we have other products with us, but this is really made mindfully, when we were creating this and planning this, we told Tita Florence we want something very special for our patients and our doctors and, the healthcare industry to make sure that they're going to feel very special.
Yes.
Right? And well taken care of. There's tons of products out there, but nothing close to how we put this together with a plant-based ceramide, which is pineapple, very organic, good to your skin, youthful looking, anti-aging, brightening, anti-inflammatory, and so much more good things. Our phone's ringing every now and then. But anyway, Tita Florence, let's talk about a little bit about you because you did so much great things and good things to a lot of people. Just for the sake of our audience today, what motivated you to take chemistry, to be a chemist?
Yes, it was my cousin who was in the United States working for a company, and she visited the Philippines when I was young, and I thought she had, when she came with bags and gifts and so on, and I said, she probably working in the United States as a chemist is great. So anyway, I just wanted to go to the United States, and she was the one that came back from the United States, and she was a chemist. So I said, maybe it's easier to go to the United States if you're a scientist. So that's really why I took chemistry.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Everybody has some sort of inspiration or, somebody who influenced or motivated them to be who they are today, right?
Yes.
It's the first time I've heard about that, and that's really nice. We've been talking to several friends and several guests about what led them to where they are today. And a lot of course, I have not met anybody yet that have said, like, it just out of the blue, I just thought about it. There's always somebody who influenced them to be who they are. Because I was talking to Alan earlier, we had a podcast, and it was really his passion to take care of patients. He really wanted to be one. And like me, my parents told me, you have to be a nurse, right?
Yes.
I was forced to be a nurse, and they said, you have to be one to come to America. So, Tita, I know you've shared to us that, you were an orphan.
Yes.
How old were you, and where did you stay then?
Yes.
In the Philippines, right?
My mother passed away when I was 2 years old, so I have no memory of her. I don't know how she looked like. And then 3 years later, I was 5 years old, and my father also passed away. So we were 7 in the family. We were 8. There were 7 siblings. I was the youngest. And on the deathbed, my father talked to my aunt, the sister, and says that if you could take care of the last two, and also my older sister. And fortunately, my father was a humanitarian, and he had good friends. So those friends volunteered to take a child with them to live with them and see that they have the education. And so that's how we ended up. And I went to live with my aunt in a remote place in Ilocos Norte, Philippines.
Wow.
Yes. So it was different from the city where we were in Lawag City. And I saw the poverty around me during that time. Children playing in the street with no shoes, tattered clothes. Mothers were on the stairway gossiping and talking. And so at that point, I made a promise to myself that I will not be poor.
To your young self.
Yeah. And so I thought about it and how could I do this? So I thought that my ticket to that goal is really through education. So I devote myself to reading books, which helped me. It opened my horizon and to beautiful places beyond the Philippines, Europe and the United States, and the freedom that you get when you get it's the United States, a country of opportunity. So I used to look at the horizon, and beyond that, I figured that beyond that horizon is the United States. So I wanted to go to the United States. So when my cousin came from the United States, and she was a chemist, so I figured, without asking her a question, maybe I will be able to go to the United States if I took chemistry.
Wow. So she is a very important person
Yes.
that shaped you in your career today. So did you stay with her when you got here, or did you get to?
No, we were supposed to go to, my ticket was to New York, New Jersey. But we passed by California because I have a brother here. And so he said California is the best place because there's no snow he is here, he could take care of us. And so we never used our ticket to New Jersey. So we never went to New Jersey. We stayed here.
Thank God.
Yes.
Otherwise, I won't meet you.
Yeah. Yes.
Everything has a reason. So, Tita, when you got here, did you? Because I know Uncle Frank was with you, and he was the one who was working first, right?
Yes.
And then when you're looking for a job, how were you looking for a job, or did somebody recommended you to that job, or how did you land to that job?
We arrived here with $100, my husband and I.
Wow.
And I'm a chemist. He's a mechanical engineer. A good thing with him is that he had been an engineer for Exxon Philippines.
Oh, wow. That's a big company.
And that's recognized here. So the next day, he was able to get a job with Lever Brothers as an engineer. But it was difficult for me because I'm a woman. I came from a third world country. So there was a lot of discrimination at that time. So it took me 6 months to get a job. And so I found this job. I was hired as a chemist, but I ended up a dishwasher and sweeping the floor because my boss was a white American, and he just gave me the dirty work. But at the same time, there's another chemist, a white guy also, but he helped me a lot because every time the boss goes to lunch, he would say, "Come, Florence, I help you do the acid value or saponification value," and I would be doing the experiment. And then he would watch on the window, and when the boss start parking the car, he would say, he's here, Florence. So I go back to the dishwashing
Oh,
and
wow.
cleaning the area. Yeah, that was I stayed there for a year, and but luckily, in between during my lunchtime, there's a small library in there, so I read everything that was in that library, how formulation of products that were being made there, which are detergent, insecticides, and soap and liquid soap and so on. So I was able to read how it's being done, and I was practicing it, but it was a good learning for me. And then after that, I was lucky that somebody, a headhunter, called me after a year working with that company, and told me that there's a position that's open, and the interviewing manager was coming from Tennessee, is here in California. So I was scheduled the next day to interview. So I went there, and then by the time when I went home, the phone rang and told me I got the job.
Oh, and that's the
Yes.
first step.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So when you were working there, that's when you got exposed to clients, to putting together all these wonderful things that you do. 'Cause now you bought your own company after that.
Yes.
You had your company, right? Because you had a good job. You had a good
Yes.
job. You had clients. It's I believe that company was where is that? Is that in the Valley, right? That time.
No, actually, the company that hired me, they have 3 locations: Tennessee, California, and Chicago. So I went to Tennessee to train because the technical director, who was my immediate boss, was in Tennessee, and so I went there and to show me how I should do my job as a chemist here in California. So I was there, and then after 1 week, they have they have a union in there, so they had a strike. So we were told that all the office people and the lab people will convene in a store, Kmart, and we will cross the picket line. A convoy will. So we did that, and then after 2 months, my boss told me, it's not gonna end soon, so you go back
To California.
to California, and we will just talk on the phone. So that's what happened. And I was the chemist, and I had a technician at the time. The owner of the company, Mr. Weisberg, was in Michigan. And so he used to come to California, and I talked to my boss. The owner would come to do sales presentation to companies all over LA, and got to learn how I perform my job. And so I stayed with the company for 15 years, and
It's a long time.
a long time. But because of my performance, the president and the owner of the company figured out that even if we don't have a plant manager, that I could manage it. So with that 15 years, the plant manager was fired. There were 8 plant managers that got fired during that time. And so I learned how to work with them and figure out. On the first telephone call from the owner, he wanted me to report on production, how many we produce, how many we ship, and so on. So the next time at 6 o'clock, the next time he called, I was already prepared. So I was able to answer all his questions, and that's how he began to trust me. And then my supervisor, the one in Tennessee, I figure out she has to do report every month, and so I figure out if I help my supervisor, maybe I will get increase in pay. And so I volunteered to do her report. And so when the supervisor became technical director, I was promoted to manager. When she became a vice president, I was promoted to technical director and so
Her
on.
position.
Yes. So that opened the industry to me. And so at that point, the owner wanted to sell the company. And so I was assigned to give tour to potential buyers. Of course.
Wow.
So that's how I met Bob Baki. And so he said to me, "What will you do after we buy the company?" And he said, "I will find a job." And he says, "Do you know how to formulate?" And I said, "Yes." And he says, "I have this product. Do you know Paul Mitchell Systems?" And I said, "No." And he says, "This is the biggest, famous, number one salon product in the United States,
The Paul Mitchell.
the Paul Mitchell Systems." And I said, "I don't go to salon. I wash my own hair." And he says, "That's okay. If you can do this product, I'll give you a product and you duplicate it. And if the owner approves it, we have a company." So that's how it started. I did the Push shampoo and the Paul Mitchell, it got approved. So Bob Baki, two and his friends, and myself started Baki Laboratories.
Oh, wow.
And we made the Paul Mitchell Systems. Yeah.
So that's the Paul Mitchell line of products.
Yes, salon products.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
and that's a very big brand out there.
Yes.
Right? And there's so many. What are the other big brands out there, Tito Florence, that you could, there's tons that you did.
Yes.
But name a few.
Well, it's
Name 5.
I could not do that because it's
Confidentiality.
Confidentiality. But every brand out there probably crossed my hands, you know. So, but the thing though is, I was, you know, in that company we have production meetings at the end every Friday, and one day the meeting went on for after like about 6:30, and I raised my hand and I said, people in the meeting were all men and I was the only woman. And so the executives were all men and I was the only woman. And I raised my hand, and Bob said, "Yes." And I said, "Can I go now? And where are you going?" And he says, "I'm going to my class." "What are you?" And I said, "I'm taking MBA classes." And he says, "Why do you need MBA? You have a home here." And I said, "I want to be vice president of that corporation." At that time, that was number one in cosmetic. And he says, so anyway, they all laugh. They laugh at me. But
Wow.
a year later, I became vice president of Pure Tech Corporation.
Where
So
are they now?
So that's the second company that I helped build. I was a
Wow.
founding member also of Pure Tech Corporation. And Barry Pressman allowed me to set up his company. It's a drug manufacturing company. And so I made products for all the visible brands out there. And
It's FDA regulation.
yes. So I stayed there for 20 years, and then I decided that after 20 years that I would go in the industry and be a consultant to the food, drug, and cosmetic industry in LA.
And you did that.
And I did that.
And then you put to your own company.
Yes. And then one day I decided to go and see a friend of mine who has a small company, and I had been there for 10 years but still not profitable. So I approached her and we partnered. And then after 2 years, I said, "I make more money consulting." And he says, "So can you buy me out?" And I says, "No, you buy me out because I'm going to retire." That's what she said. So I bought her out and run the company as a boutique, a contract manufacturing company that serves the cosmetic industry. It's known for its quality and service. And so I built that, and in 4 years, I sold it to a conglomerate. Yes.
That's where we got to meet you and
Yes.
formulated the whole self,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Wow, Tita Florence, you're so amazing, and not everybody can get to, be who you are. And I don't think you plan to even be that. I don't know if you envision. Did you even envision yourself to get that far, or did you that it's like a one day at a time thing?
Well, as I said, when I was young, I decided I will not be poor. So I may
So just keep working hard.
Yeah, my goal was towards that goal. So when we arrived here in the United States, the first thing that you have to do is get checking book, checking
A checkbook.
checkbook. And so the first check that I wrote at that time was a check to myself. So I wrote $1 million to myself at the time and hoping that I will collect it one day.
That's a huge money.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yes. I only had $100 at the time. So that
So you
check,
added zeros.
yeah. So that check, I have it posted in my house to remind me of those old, when I just arrived here in the United States, and we could not afford to go to the movies. We could not afford to go to the restaurants. We could not afford to shop in nice places. And we save and save and save so that we can have our own house. So,
And now you can afford all those things and even buy them out.
yes.
Right? Imagine that.
Yes.
And that was and that was not even too long ago. Imagine sometimes people would say that's kind of impossible to do, or you're so out of reach. But from rags, from being an orphan to rags to riches, to an icon right now, $1 million icon. And a lot of these people that you've helped also are already $1 million in their own rights, right? Creating their own products. And here you are, still inspiring a lot of people. Was there any struggles along the way?
Yes, if it's if you look at me now, you only see me nice clothes and all that, but it was a 50-year in the making. So I
It
have
doesn't happen overnight.
yes, I have 3 children, and my first goal was to be able to send them to school, and that they should have their own degree. So when Barry met me and wanted and offered me the job to start his own company, I said to him, I have a good job, and I think my goal is to have my children go to college, and my son is about to go to USC, and I don't want to lose that opportunity. So he told me, promised that even if his company will fall down, that there is money in the bank for my son to continue to go to college. So I took the job and worked with him. It was 4 walls, nothing in there, no electricity, no plumbing.
Oh, wow.
We don't have a customer. Of course, there's no formulation yet because it's a new company. So I started. I had a table, a small table in the front. It was just an office and nothing. There's no plumbing. So I had to go to the nearest McDonald's whenever I need to go to a restroom.
Wow.
So that started it. And I started formulating, and then we started going to New York to buy tanks and all the things that's needed in manufacturing, and set up, hired people to help us out. And so after 3 months or so, we were set up, and I said, we cannot go into commercialization until 2 years from now. We only make drug products. So I told Barry, I think we should start making cosmetics. So he says, I don't really know cosmetics because my expertise in capsules, tablets,
Drugs.
and so on.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I do. We could create a product line that's better or equal to the best salon product in the United States. So you just have to find a marketer. So 6 months down the road, he says, I found the marketer. So we flew to Kirkland, Washington, and we came back, and we were the manufacturer of Kirkland's signature Costco for 20 years. So the first Kirkland signature shampoo, conditioner, lotion, bubble bath, hairspray were all my formulations. We manufactured them. So that was the break that we got.
Wow. And after that, it just fall into place.
Yeah.
But Tita Florence, personally, so because you were workaholic, you're right?
Yes.
Workaholic career woman, and then driven, right? You have all this leadership role, for being an executive. At the same time, you're a wife, you're a mom. How did you find balance to that?
Actually, I had my husband was very supportive. He supported me a lot, and he took care of the house. He took care of the kids. He is a very simple man, and he decided to retire from his work when my daughter has a baby because he wanted to take care of the baby. So anyway, I was able to dedicate my time and effort to building my career. And he took care of everything.
Thank
at
God
home.
to Uncle,
Yeah.
Uncle Frank for giving. It's a give and take, right?
Yes.
Somebody has to stay aside and look after the family as the other one build his career or her career. What made you decide? Because you bought the company, right?
Yes.
And he was still alive then. Tito Frank passed away already, by the way. But when he was still alive when you bought the company, right?
Yes.
Was he involved in your company, or you were just building it?
Yes. He was involved because he was the purchasing agent. Yes. And unfortunately,
And the children.
and that you took care of the house and the children. But unfortunately, during that time, we have the company and we don't have any customer yet. One Sunday, I brought him to the emergency, and then the following Monday, I was going to bid. I was doing a bid for Whole Foods, and it was 6:00 in the afternoon, and I said, I'm not done yet. I have to finish this paperwork. Because if you deal with Whole Foods, it's a lot of paperwork. And I said, the bidding will be tomorrow, and I have to finish it. So he said, don't worry about me. You finish your bidding and your paperwork, and you can come. You don't even have to come. You could come later. And he says, so at 9:00 I finished. 9:00 in the evening I finished, and I went to the hospital. And he said, you should go home after 30 minutes because you're tired already. You can come tomorrow. So that's what I did. Unfortunately, he passed away the following day.
In the morning.
So I promised myself that I will not lose this account. So that account, I
That's so
held
special.
it until, and they're still doing it with the company that I sold, So it continued. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Uncle Frank was blessing that also because like a
Yes.
special gift. So
Yeah.
I know there are things that you do behind the scene that probably a lot of people don't see. There's
Yes.
no Uncle Frank. You're going to work, you're making this company work, you're leading this team. At the same time, you're building the business, right?
Yes.
And what do you do outside of work to prepare to be that CEO of this company?
I tell the people that work for me that when you come to the office, as you enter the door, you are going to say to yourself, I will do my best. And then as you are inside the company, your focus is the company. And then when you go home and you leave that door, you say, I did my best. And then you go home, your focus is your family.
I will copy that. That's beautiful because people cannot just shift back and forth. Sometimes they're so distracted.
Yes.
But you get them to stay focused to what they do. And sometimes people need reminding of that.
Yes. So I tell my family, do not call me unless it's an emergency. So that's how I built my career for 50 years. Yes. So anyway,
Is there something that you did to yourself?
Oh.
Because there's so many challenges, right?
Yeah.
Is there something that you do on a daily basis to build yourself? Because you're not just gonna have the wisdom. You're not just gonna be able to do what you need to do and to stay where you are. Do you still keep learning? Do you still keep studying?
So when I came to the United States, and I know I don't have a perfect accent, and so I wanted to be successful. So I have a degree from the University of the Philippines. I know I have the basic technical skills. And so I said, I need to improve my English communication. I need to improve my appearance. So I took classes for self-improvement, how to dress up for success, how to be quality-oriented, how to be reliable, and took statistics classes like that.
Wow.
Okay. So then I apply myself into my career, and I attended seminars, conventions, all throughout, even up to now. And every time I go to those meetings, I would sit myself next to somebody I don't know. So I would introduce myself, and that's how I became known in the industry. And actually, I'm very active in the beauty industry. I'm on the board of the Beauty Industry West. I was a speaker chair for so many years. And so practically, it's a little community of professionals in the beauty industry, business owners, marketers, and so on. So I would say mostly, most of them know me because of my connection, doing that over the years.
And you just got awarded Entrepreneur of the Year.
Yes, I got Entrepreneur of the Year for 2023. So I tell the people that work for me how to build themselves if they want. So I tell them, you should dress up to the position that you want to be in the future.
Oh boy, we speak the same language, Tita Florence.
Yeah.
The same thing. You have to plan already where you want to be.
Yes.
Look like one.
So I have a chemist that came to apply, and I hired him. He's from India, and he's great. And then one day I said he came to the office and his pants had holes in it. You know how it's a trend. So I took him on the side and
the jeans.
Yeah, the jeans, and I said, if you want to become a manager or executive one day, you have to wear the part. So even if you're just a chemist, you have to wear the part that you want to be.
So people can see you, that there's an intention, right? So it's intentional. There's an intention to be that person.
So the next day he came in with a suit. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Today, when I when I retired, I recommended him to be the leader, leader of the company.
Because he wanted to.
Yes.
And he wants that responsibility. And that's something I also want to stress out to everybody, Tita Florence, because some people think that people get lucky. Maybe true to some, but really you have to be intentional. You really have to plan your future too. And I know we don't hold the future. Things may change. God may have a different plan for us. But at the same time, if you can, plan that and wants to want it, right? You need to decide. I think you have to decide first. Decide that you want to be that person and then dress the part.
Yes.
And the person, your boss and the people around you will just notice you.
Yes.
And isolate you and pull you up from there. Without them noticing that, you'll stay where you are.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's not always that you are super good. Somebody has to see that, and you have to also want it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, so you have to know where you want to go. So you must have a goal, and every decision that you do should be towards that goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Tita Florence, I know will invite you again because there's so many things to talk about your life. You have an amazing life, but just for today, for our audience to have some takeaways, and they already pick up a lot of takeaways from you today. But summarize it, maybe 3 things that they have, or 3, or we have 5.
Yeah.
For them to at least, if they're starting, they're just a fresh grad maybe, or they're just in college, or fresh grad, or starting their career, and they don't know who they want to be, what would be something that you would advise them?
Yes, you should dream big, work hard, learn every day, and enjoy life.
That's the thing that people always forget. Enjoy life also.
Yes.
And have that balanced life. And we always talk, me and Tita Florence, we're always joking, okay, we'll be using that American Express every now and then to enjoy our lives. Because most of the time, no one's patting us on the back.
Yes.
No one's telling us, good job, right?
Yes.
As you keep going up the ladder, no one's going to tell you, oh, you did a great job today. So you have to do that to yourself.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
You have to also be mindful of that self, Tita
Yes,
Florence, right?
yes.
Tita Florence, that you did a great job.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That keeps you going.
Yes, that's what I do over the years. When I accomplish great things, I would buy something equivalent to my 1-year salary.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I was doing it. I became vice president. I bought a Mercedes Benz. When I had my company and it was profitable, I bought the Bentley. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to also enjoy what you have planted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's God's blessings too.
Yes.
Right? He wants you to, that's why He's getting you there, because He wants you to enjoy His creation.
Yes.
And that being mindful of that creation is powerful.
Yes.
So, wow. Thank you, Tita Florence,
You're
for being
welcome.
here today. There's so many more things to talk about.
Yes.
We have not talked about your other lives in between.
Yes.
Your friendship. I want to see how you pick your team. Maybe we can talk about that next time. Is there a rule to that? Who do you know, the friends around you that also supports you, and the people that influence you both
Yes.
ways?
Yes.
How do you know that they're the right people around you? So we'll go back and circle back to that next time.
Okay.
Thank you, Tita Florence.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, we survived.
Oh my God! Ano ba yan? Naubusan ako ng English.